Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this. Excuse me. This is your WWE Clash of Champions 2016 preview. I'm joined by my partner in crime, Sammy. How you doing today, partner?
Tired this morning. We're going at it early, bro.
Dude, this should be a Wrestle AM. It's that early. It's insane. And if anyone doesn't realize, right now for Sammy, it's probably about 6 o'clock.
It's about
7
6:30.
o'clock. 6:30 over your time. Over it's 12:50 or 12:30. But the issue is, I'm on American time. I go to sleep at 4 a.m. UK time, get up at 12, go to work at 3, get home at 11, then do my shows. So to me, this is really early. This is really strange. But we did promise a Clash of Champions review last night. We didn't. Real life does sometimes get in the way, but we're here now, and that's what important. We're here now with your Clash of the Champions preview. So overall summary, Sammy, of your thoughts on what this show will be. Do you think this will be a good show? Because we literally have just been talking for about 50 seconds, and I was just getting the card up on Wikipedia, and I said on paper this could be a great show. But what were you had some concerns?
On paper, this looks really pretty damn good, but I'm afraid that because of the ratings, the way that they've been, that they might make some stupid decisions. Like, I'm really afraid they're going to go ahead and pull the belt off of Owens, which I think is a really bad idea. And I'm afraid they're probably going to put a belt on Roman, which I also think is a bad idea. So let's hope that they can fucking keep their head out of the low ratings crowd, or cloud, if you will, and deliver a product storyline-wise makes good sense.
I hope so. Excuse me. I pray that they don't put the belt on Roman. But if they do, maybe it's good that he's out of the main division and he's back in with the mid-carders. Maybe that's what he needs to just kind of, we'll chill out on Roman. He can be in the mid-card. We'll leave the main eventers to do their thing. He can be in the mid-card. He can make that title important. He can carry on this feud with Rusev and then, go on with another mid-card heel. Maybe have a feud with Jericho or something like that, or Sami Zayn or something like that. But just get him out of that main event scene.
Yeah, I can see that.
And I was struggling right there and then to come up with a heel from Monday Night Raw, which in my case proves that Kevin Owens is going to have this title for a very long time. I think Kevin Owens is going to have this belt for a very long time because there's just no other heels. You've got Rusev, you've got Jericho at a push. I mean, that's really about it you're going to get for heel-wise. They really do have a lack of heels because you've got Reigns, face, Sami Zayn, face, Rollins now, face. With Rollins now as a baby face, it kind of hurts if no one turns heel. If no one turns heel, you just got too many on the babyface side.
Yeah, someone's going to have to turn heel. I don't know who. Excuse me.
I mean, this is where I think Cesaro could win his best of 7, and this is dream-worthy. Mm-hmm. Imagine the next pay-per-view, whatever the fuck it may be, because there's 16,000 pay-per-views these days. Cesaro versus Kevin Owens for the world title.
That'd be fucking amazing. It'd be like a hardcore old ROH days. It'd be so awesome.
Brilliant. Well, we'll go from the beginning. So the pre-show, I'm using Wikipedia, the website that never lies. Apparently, so that's what we're going to do. Again, make sure you put in the comments what you think, the predictions, or just general queries about the show, and we'll read them live on air. So the pre-show, according to Wikipedia, we have Alicia Fox versus Nia Jax. Thoughts?
It's Nia Jax is going to fucking crush her. Honestly, Nia Jax has been the best monster heel they've had in a while because they're actually treating her like a monster. With fucking Braun Strowman, he was just beating up jobbers left and right, but the second he got in the ring with Kalisto, he had to earn a victory over, not Kalisto, Sin Cara. He had to earn a victory over Sin Cara and actually had to work for it. And whereas Nia Jax just beat the holy shit out of Alicia Fox. Just beat her to death. So, I mean, I don't see any real value in this match as it stands, but I'm going to miss the bit anyway.
I do see the value in let's get Nia Jax to win on pay-per-view. That to me does make some logic sense. So if they're going, hey, look, we want Nia Jax to get a pay-per-view win. Alicia Fox, no one really gives a shit about her. Just she gets absolutely battered and bruised and brutalized. It doesn't really matter. So I understand that, they want Nia Jax to be over, but I hope that, Nia Jax doesn't ruin the women's division we got now. Because I read online yesterday, and I know it's online, and I know half the time it's just gospel bullshit, but they were talking about a women's match headlining a network event sometime down the line. And I was thinking, Charlotte, Banks, Bailey, that could main event. I don't see anything wrong with that being a main event one day. I mean, I'm not for this pay-per-view, but I mean, why not have Cesaro win this best of 7 and have Cesaro versus Owens not in the main event, just in the semi-main, then have this as a rematch at the next Raw event for the Women's Championship on Raw, just in the main event, just to say, hey, look, we were the first ever pay-per-view main event.
I think that'd be pretty cool.
We'll just see how it goes. So we both have Nia Jax going over Alicia Fox. If Alicia Fox wins, then someone needs shooting backstage. Not that they don't need shooting anyway. They need shooting anyway. So we have Cruiserweight title on the line. We have Perkins defending against Brian Kendrick. Now, I, for one, I'm completely baffled that TJ Perkins wasn't on Raw, wasn't doing anything.
Yeah, what was the point? I would have saved this match for one more month and just had a couple more cruiserweight matches, but I don't understand. What's the point? He's going to show up at the pay-per-view with the belt to defend it, and most of the crowd's going to have no idea who he is.
Scrap that. Raw got this week, 2.6 million viewers? So say Raw got 2.6. Okay, the network has 1.5. So even if every single person who owns the WWE network watches it, you still got 1 million people who do not have a fucking clue who TJ Perkins is.
But I don't see the understanding.
It's just WWE. I mean, they're like, but we showed a video package. It's like it's really not good enough. But what can you do with these scumbags? I think the match on Raw, they gave you the option of Gran Metalik versus TJ Perkins, Alexander, who's my favorite wrestler in the world right now, against TJ Perkins. Whoever the fucking other guy was, Rich Swann versus Perkins. Out of all those 4, the one person I didn't want to win because I was that uninterested in was Brian Kendrick. The only reason in the Classic I cared about Kendrick was because Daniel Bryan cared about Brian Kendrick because Brian was on commentary and he made me emotionally attached to Brian Kendrick. There will be no Daniel Bryan on Sunday. It'll be Michael Cole. And I actually do not want Brian Kendrick to win. I think he will win. I generally think he will win. I think I'm strongly thinking that he will win because Vince is looking at these guys, not having a bloody clue who they are, seeing Brian Kendrick, recognizing the name, going, we'll check the belt on him. People will know him, even though it was fucking 7 years ago. But people will know him, so we'll chuck the belt on him and then he can have a lengthy title run. They're going to do it. I think Brian Kendrick will win this.
I think they'll probably keep it on TJ Perkins for at least a little while because I feel like they don't know what to do with the cruiserweights right now at all, and they really don't, which is pathetic. They really need to fucking figure out what the hell they're doing with them. But I do see them at least keeping it on him for a little while.
I hope so, but I'm just they're like Vince is just looking at I don't know who the fuck is this Perkins guy. We'll just fucking chuck it on Kendrick. It's worrying, but that's what I think they'll do.
Yeah. What else? I could see the mental path they took to get to that conclusion. I just hope they don't take it.
Fingers crossed. And then in what my prediction would be the match of the night, we have Cesaro versus Sheamus in match 7 of their best of 7 series. Right now it's tied at 3 apiece. Every match I would say has been good to pretty damn entertaining. So I'm expecting on live pay-per-view, this to kick off the show and to just absolutely steal it.
I can see that. I mean, every match these two have had together have been good. I haven't cared as much. We talked about that the other night on Lucha. I haven't cared as much about this series, but it's still been really entertaining. So I could easily see this having the Dolph Ziggler spot and just stealing the whole show.
I think one of the reasons why we haven't cared is when we knew Sheamus was 3-0 up, we knew Cesaro was going to win each and every one of those matches. You just knew it because you knew they were going to do the 7th here. The way it was laid out from the beginning. What a surprise. The 7th match, if it happens, occurs on a pay-per-view. So when Sheamus was 3-0 up, you're like, okay, Cesaro's winning the next 3. So you're kind of uninterested because you just know it's so predictable. You knew that was going to happen. But Cesaro Sheamus, I think, will be a great match. I like that there is something on the line, a championship opportunity. Like I said earlier on, I hope Cesaro gets the win and faces Owens. But, I mean, if Sheamus gets the win and faces... Sheamus reigns. Oh, God, get that out of my head. Get that out of my head. One of the things that worries... Oh, God. Do you remember when they were doing that in house show main events and everyone was leaving early? That's funny. What worries me here is they're going to say, look, you want a title match. The issue is You want a tag title match, and your partner is your opponent Cesaro, and then they have to kind of get along.
I actually kind of like that idea.
That's what I think they're going to do. That's my bold prediction of the day. That's
Really?
what I think. I read it on. Yeah, I read it. I read it online, and I can't remember where it was from. Wherever it's from, someone in the comments probably knows where it's from. I just read it and it clicked. Like, that's actually a pretty damn good idea. I mean, which way would they go? Would they sway Sheamus to babyface? I've always thought Sheamus was a very good babyface. I think he connected with the crowd very well. So I wouldn't mind a Sheamus Cesaro babyface. Because we just touched on earlier, we have a lack of heels. So maybe Cesaro can go the heel way, saying, you know what? Fuck it, let's do it. Let's go destroy the tag team division. Cesaro and Sheamus versus the New Day. That could be.
I think it'd be really good. The only issue I have of that are purely selfish, and that I really want the club, Gallows and Anderson, to win the belts. They're probably one of my favorite tag teams right now, but they keep dropping the ball with them. That's the only real issue that I have, and I actually kind of dig that idea. Because you can do it either way. I would honestly rather see him heel.
I could, but then on the other hand, we did say earlier we ran out of heels on Raw. But if they do turn heel, like Cesaro with that Cesaro section, he's actually getting quite over right now, so maybe they don't want to ruin that. But we don't know how they think. It's so hard to predict these things because you just don't know what they're going to do. They could do anything, and that's not a good thing. They're unpredictable and not in a good way. They're not unpredictable like, oh, I can't wait to see what they're going to do. They're going to shock me. They're going to swerve me, and it's going to be fucking awesome. I'm sort of thinking, I hope they do the predictable thing because the predictable thing's really good, and the unpredictable thing tends to be shit.
No, you ain't wrong.
It's a major concern. But I am hoping Cesaro gets the win. If Sheamus does get the win, I'll not be sad. I just pray it's a good match.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. So I don't really have a dog in that fight, as long as I get entertained, and because it's going to be a pretty damn good match. I would prefer Cesaro win, though.
We have the US title on the line in my piss break of the night. Actually, no, because I think Enzo and Cass versus the Shining Stars might be added last minute. If that is, then that's my sponsored LK toilet break of the night. But we have Rusev defending US title against Roman Reigns. Rusev, you were about to get crushed, my friend. If this match lasts past 10 minutes and you haven't lost the belt, you done well for yourself. There is no way Reigns does not come out of this with the belt.
Yeah, he's going to win the belt. I'm almost positive he's going to win the belt, which I will take. I will genuinely take if a couple things happen. If Rusev actually puts up a fight and he just doesn't get obliterated by Super Reigns, I'll take it. If for some reason you did a swerve, and I'm trying to think of how you could do it, because I swear to God it's possible. It's got to be there. But if somehow you switched Reigns to a full-blown monster heel out of this, I would be happy. There's got to be a way to do it. I just don't see them doing it.
Carry on talking. I'm literally just writing what I think is going to happen in the main event. Carry on talking.
No, it's. There's got to be a way that coming out. I know Rusev, and you wouldn't even have to do a double turn. I don't think you would have to turn Rusev face because he would be an awful face. I like Rusev, but he'd be a terrible face. He gets too much cheap heat just for being foreign. But there's got to be a way you could turn Reigns heel. It's in those cards somewhere. It's in the terror cards. I'm trying to see them. I cannot see them. It's got to be there because he's honestly what I would have done a long time ago to turn Reigns heel. And I guess he could still do it with this belt. It just wouldn't have quite the impact. Is he should have turned heel when he won the belt, because the first thing I would have done, if I'm Roman Reigns and I just turned heel, or I just won the fucking belt, and all these people have booed me for so long, is I fucking put the belt around my waist, I go stand up in the corners, and I just fucking give two birds to the entire crowd. Fuck them. And then start the promos of, y'all didn't want to fucking pull for me? That's fine. Keep booing me. I'm going to keep winning. Eat my ass.
Not literally. This is how I predict, and this is to go completely off topic to the main event here, but because we're talking about Reigns, I think this is what's actually going to happen. So you're going to have Rollins and Owens. You're going to be 20 minutes into the match. You're going to have the ref bumps. Triple H comes out, low blow to Rollins, pedigrees Rollins. Kevin Owens is laid out. Roman Reigns music hits. Reigns runs out. Stare down, punch with Triple H, brawl, all around the building, because then in Vince's mind, it's like, that's going to get Roman Reigns over if he's beating up the mega bad guy. And then Rollins kind of just gets back to his feet. Owens pop-up powerbomb. Owens retains. Rollins still looks strong because, he got fucked. Reigns, in their mind, will look strong because he beat up Triple H. Triple H looks strong because he fucked up Rollins, and Owens looks strong because he's retained the belt. That's what I think will happen in the main event.
I don't think that's bad by any means. I think that's entirely within the realm of possibility.
That's not what I want to happen. I'm just saying that's how I think that Vince sees it. Because the way they book their shows is that everyone in that card has to look strong in some way, shape, or form. So that was done in a way that you can go on with Reigns H. You can use that excuse for Rollins to get a rematch if necessary. Because if they're going with the Cesaro Sheamus tag idea, I don't know. I just picture them doing that. I think Triple H will be involved in the main event in some way, shape, or form. But
if somewhere.
To take the story back full circle, if that is the case, and if they are going down a Roman Reigns Triple H feud heading into Hell in a Cell, I don't think it's very logical to have Reigns as a US champion. I think you can continue Rusev as the champion with a win over Reigns, maybe a dusty finish, but then have Sami Zayn challenge Rusev for the US title after a win over Jericho.
Well, I mean, honestly, you could probably switch up your idea a little bit and have Triple H cost Roman Reigns the title.
Or they could do that just in its entirety, yeah. And that way you can have Reigns versus H, and you can also do Rusev versus a babyface, maybe Sami Zayn, as you touched on, maybe Cesaro. It probably will be Cesaro Rusev, but we'll just have to see. It's just, I hope that they do something with Triple H, because this story now needs to be told. Like, it's getting a bit of a joke now that there is the story on the table. Just go fucking tell it. Speaking of Zayn and Jericho, we have Zayn and Jericho up next in our predictions. I predict an okay match. I predict that the crowd will be dead for this. I think this is going to be in the death spot of the card. I'm expecting it to be right in the middle where no one gives a shit, but I'm expecting Sami Zayn to win, and it will be a joke if unless they do something, with Jericho in the main event for the title. I think Sami Zayn needs this win.
They historically are really bad about giving Jericho wins he doesn't need. And I'm a Jericho fan, but they give him a lot of fucking wins that he does not deserve. And they've historically here lately fucking been shitting on Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn is the new Dolph Ziggler right now. He works harder than just about everybody else. The crowd really, really likes him. He'll never win. It would not surprise me if Jericho wins this, but Sami Zayn really needs this win. Because, like, when he finally beat Kevin Owens, because of just the manner in which they did it, even though it was a fantastic match, it didn't have the oomph that it should have had. I still say they should have held out and fucking build up that awesome, 6-month story with Sami Zayn to face Kevin Owens in the main event at WrestleMania, and that's where he beats Kevin Owens for the belt when there's more on the line than anything else. And you can still tell that story, and that's the story I want to see coming out of this. Especially if they do have the belt on Owens for a really long time. Because I think you can make a transcendent babyface star out of Sami Zayn with that. So, but I'm just really worried they're going to give Jericho the win here. A clean win.
And we're having this, I don't understand why this match is taking place. It's happening because Jericho attacked Sami Zayn on the highlight reel. I mean, if that's the case for a rivalry, why the fuck not? But, there's nothing on the line. Wrestling because Sami Zayn feuded with Jericho's friend. That's pretty much why this is happening.
Yeah, I mean, that's it.
But speaking of, I think they're wasting a triple threat for the women's belt. You have Charlotte, Banks, and Bayley. I think this has been completely rushed. Bayley's been on the Royal roster for what? Around about a month and a half. And they're already wasting the Charlotte, Banks, and Bayley. This should be their Raw Women's Championship WrestleMania match.
Yeah.
And they're wasting it.
I concur. Honestly, you know what match I'd rather have seen than saving this? Save your Sasha Banks rematch for one more. Have Charlotte go over dirty on Charlotte go over dirty on Banks next month. This month, I genuinely, even though I don't like her, it would have been a better storytelling thing to have Dana Brooke versus Charlotte and work it in such a way that be like, oh, Charlotte, Dana Brooke really didn't want to go into the match against Charlotte, but she wants to be the title. They've done it before. They did it with Becky Lynch in NXT, where they threw her in that 4-way match, and she was supposed to be friends with Becky Lynch or with Sasha Banks, but the belt means more than their friendship and her protege or whatever you want to call it. And plus that throws another diva. Oh, excuse me. Oh, I'm getting heat, bro. That throws another lady into a potential main event spot. I mean, it puts some love on Dana Brooke and shows that, okay, we weren't just going to ride these 4 ponies into the ground, even though I'd be okay with that. I think it would have been better storytelling to do that, but that's clearly not what we're getting.
I think we're going to get a 4-way, including Dana Brooke at the next one.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. And then the month after that, I don't know what we'll get. Maybe add Nia Jax in the mix. But I'm worried if you do go down the 4-way route, what's Nia Jax going to do after this? Like, what is Nia Jax going to do after Alicia Fox?
It's a good-ass question. She's going to have to get in a big feud with one of the main women and is going to have to go – well, they're not going to have to go over because you can't have Nia Jax going after the belt until you have a babyface holding the belt. So depending on who wins tonight, if Charlotte retains, I have no idea what they're going to do with her. If one of the other 2 wins, then you could tell the Nia Jax story.
I mean, maybe Nia Jax can be Charlotte's new bodyguard. Like Charlotte gets rid of that stupid Dana Brooke, and then you could eventually turn it so that Nia Jax turns, because Nia Jax was an okay babyface start. You could just turn Nia Jax babyface on Charlotte, and then do Nia Jax Charlotte.
You could probably make that work.
This isn't for a while yet, because you still got to do Charlotte, Dana Brooke. You still got to do this 3-way. So we'll just see how they do with it. They'll probably hot shot the belt back onto Bayley. I literally think they're like, oh, Vince, like look at the connection that she has with the crowd. Listen to how over she is. We'll put the belt on her. That worries me. I think she's one of those people like Zayn doesn't need the belt to be over.
No,
they can be over because they're just that likable. So I think Bayley chasing the belt has money in it. It has money.
I think it absolutely does, and I see a lot of parallels between Zayn and Bayley, which is why that when finally Bayley did win the belt at TakeOver last year, it meant so much because we'd seen her try to get the belt for a year, and her greatest rival in Sasha Banks, and you could do the same thing with Zayn. Like you could have him go after the fucking belt for so long because he did the same thing. He went after the belt time and time again and kept losing him. So we finally beat Neville for the belt. It was fucking fantastic. And I think they need to do kind of a recreation of that story with these 2 because they're both so popular that just them going after the belt is enough to keep people interested.
We'll move on to tag title match. New Day, Luke Gallows and Anderson. I'm kind of uninterested in this. I think looking at this card, this is the match I care least about before we get to Enzo and Cass and Shining Stars, if that's actually happening. I think the build-up has just been really poor. And I've kind of lost my care for New Day, and that's not their fault at all. Mm-hmm. The way they've been presented recently is that they're a goofy tag team. I don't like that at all.
I completely agree. And I really like New Day, and Club's probably my favorite tag team right now, but I just don't have much invested in this particular match. And I think part of the problem is I feel New Day's had the belt for too long, and the last 2 defensive they have not been good. It's not been good at all, so I hope they fix it.
I just think that the way it's been promoted is that it's just not important. Like, they were involved in a fucking 10-man tag on the Go Home show on Raw. It just feels unimportant, and that I just don't see much interest. I mean, if we look at this show, everything on the main card, apart from Sami Zayn and Jericho, there's something on the line, so I will give them that. It's not just wrestling matches for wrestling's sake. But I just don't care. But the thing is, once you get rid of Gallows and Anderson, who have you got? Shining Stars? I can see Gallows and Anderson getting the win, and then them feuding with Enzo and Cass again with the tag belts.
I mean, honestly, what I'd rather see is them win and then not turn heel, but have New Day turn nasty to try and win them back.
They could do that, but they're probably selling some good-ass merch at the minute. So
they really are.
Would they really like to stop that? Like, because that's good money for them, isn't it, really?
Oh, yeah, that's where most of their money comes from, truth be told, because if I'm not mistaken, Kofi makes most of like the actual paycheck if you want to add all their salaries together. Big E and Xavier Woods don't make that much, but once you add in merch, apparently they're bringing home bank. So it's like you wouldn't have to necessarily turn them heel. Just have them turn a little vicious for a little while. Honestly, now that you brought it up, the match that I would rather see is have Gallows and Anderson win, have a week or two of them just wiping everybody out, and then have the new potential tag team of Sheamus and Cesaro step up and go, that's who we want to go after.
Oh, and then that's a good way. Yeah, turn them babyface.
Yeah, have them turn babyface. I wouldn't have them win that feud, but I would have them turn babyface against it.
But what worries me is that's because if Cesaro and Sheamus become a tag team, it means that they're going to have to break up, which means we'll have to see Cesaro and Sheamus once again.
Yeah.
I after seeing them 7 weeks in a row, I kind of want to take a few years off from ever seeing Cesaro and Sheamus ever wrestle again, which is sad.
With, like, Sheamus in general, like, he just has feuds that go on forever, and you get bored of them.
And the thing is, in the back of your mind, look, this is going to be a really good wrestling match. I just don't care. I've seen it too many times.
Exactly.
Main event time. Owens versus Rollins, Universal title. I reckon Owens retains. H maybe to be involved, depends if he's involved in the US title match. I want to see Owens win. He needs to cheat to win.
Yes.
To protect Rollins. He has to cheat somehow. But the question more importantly is, where will it go from here? Where will it go from here? Will we get another rematch? Will we get a new challenger? And again, lack of baby faces. Again, it scares me. Roman Reigns is a baby face. That scares me. That's why I think we're going to get Reigns versus H, because we cannot have Reigns versus Owens again.
We can't. It's just gonna make more people stop watching, and that's bad.
It's out of order. It is, isn't it? Why are we worried? Roman Reigns is like 4 matches down the card for the lower belt, but we're worried he's going to fucking challenge for the world title in the next one. Because it's Roman Reigns that's worrying. But maybe Owens cheats to win, so we get another Rollins-Owens match. Or maybe we get Owens-Zayn. Or maybe Owens-Cesaro. Or maybe Jericho turns on Owens and Jericho-Owens, but with a babyface Chris Jericho. I think that could be pretty... He hasn't been babyface in a while. So maybe we get babyface Jericho.
Since he first came back.
Exactly. So we could have babyface Jericho versus heel Kevin Owens in a pay-per-view.
The next pay-per-view after this is Hell in a Cell, correct?
I'll do a little bit of research. I'll have a quick... I think it is.
So what I would like to see is have your Owens-Rollins match go tonight, and instead of... do the super... And this would get Owens such legit heat, and it would put like super smart heat on him, for the lack of a better word. Instead of having him cheat to win or having Triple H cheat to win, just have him walk out. To be like, have him like, yeah, fucking Rollins finally starts getting the head on him. He's got him on the ropes, and then just have him roll out, grab the belt, and start walking down the aisle. Have him get a 10 count, because that could lead into your Hell in a Cell. You could have Foley come out and go like, if you want to be that much of a coward, and you actually want to prove to the belt that means that much to you, you have to win again, but you have to win, and it's got to be in a Hell in a Cell.
They could do that. That could be a great idea.
That's what I would say.
That would be a great idea.
Because it's going to put heat on it. It's like, he didn't fucking defend it. And then your super smart crowd be like, it's so shitty of an ending because he just walked out. Like, well, you're mad at him, right?
Yeah, actually, yeah. I could see that running away. Yeah. Oh, dude, we'll be so pissed if that actually happens. We'll be coming in so pissed. We're saying they should do that, but we'll be so pissed if that actually happens.
Fucking criminal.
We paid for this. We paid for this. This is bullshit. That's what it'll be like. Yeah, Hell in a Cell is 5 weeks from tomorrow. So 5 weeks from this Sunday.
And that would play right into the concept of Hell in a Cell, because you said you cannot leave. So he would have to go in there, and he would have to actually beat Rollins to win.
So we'll say Hell in a Cell. We'll say H versus Reigns inside the cell, as well as Rollins and Owens inside the cell.
Yeah, because I believe last year we had 2 actual Hell in a Cell matches. It was Undertaker,
Brock,
and it was, I think, Reigns and who was it? Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, we had 2. So that makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense.
I think it worked great.
Brilliant. There we go. And I'm expecting it to be a good match, Owens and Rollins. And
it'll be good.
This has been a bit negative, Nelly, of a show, but maybe it's because we're doing it early in the morning. But on paper, this could be a show full of great wrestling matches. You know, there could be some great wrestling matches, and the fact that we worry about is the direction, who wins, what rivalries go on next. That's always the concern. You know, you look at most WWE pay-per-view cards, you're like, you know what, that's a fucking damn good-looking card. Then when it actually plays out on TV, you then question your brain, you question your morals, you feel guilty for watching it. It's just one of those things. But we'll get some live comments now. I'm not expecting too many live comments because it is a really fucking early time in the morning.
Yeah.
If there is some, we will be obviously very grateful. Oh, we have quite a lot. So we have Ronnie S. Should be a great show. Roman for US champ. I have a gut feeling that Rusev's going to retain and H is going to cost Roman the belt. And then you're going to have Roman versus Triple H inside the cell at Hell in a Cell in 5 weeks.
And that's what I see, or that's what I guess what I would like to see. But I could just as easily see him winning the belt from Rusev, and that the Hell in a Cell match is Rusev versus Roman.
Oh, but then what about H? You just wasted the whole Triple H.
Yeah, I know. It's completely wasted.
I know.
Or maybe you could maybe do. Yeah, I think maybe you could do, if you wanted to go that direction, and this isn't what we would prefer, but you could have Roman win, have Rusev versus Roman in a match, and then you could have fucking Triple H maybe interfere in the Kevin Owens match, and then have Kevin Owens go over clean, kind of, but totally cheat to win, and then have Owens versus somebody else, and then start your Triple H Seth Rollins feud.
You could do that and then just pretend the Roman Reigns involvement, he just did that because he had to. The Roman Reigns Triple H stuff is finished.
Yeah.
So it
kind of makes sense because it was a bigger deal.
Yeah, exactly, because he actually cost Rollins the title properly.
Yeah.
So we'll have... So say going forward, we have Triple H Rollins. We'll have Reigns Rusev again. So say Roman wins and then Rusev gets his rematch inside the cell. Rollins, Triple H, and maybe not at Hell in a Cell because we should save that for WrestleMania because that's a big deal. And then Kevin Owens versus either A, Cesaro after he wins the best of 7. Mm-hmm. B, Chris Jericho because he turns babyface. And then Owens obliviates him in the cell to the point where he has to leave. And then C, if you must, Sami Zayn.
There's some options, I think, when we talk about it out loud. There's some options if you go either way. You can make either one of those work.
So they'll do the one that limits your options. That's the one they'll do. They'll find a way to just limit your options.
They'll do the one that pigeonholes you, just an absolute fucking disaster.
Oh, anyway, yeah, we'll call live comments. I was a bit of a dick there, just to completely ignore them as we completely go off topic, like we do every show. Oh, dude, I'm going to so slaughter this name. I'm so sorry. Almanza Awad. He puts. I love how I say an accent when I say his name. Do you think maybe at WrestleMania 33, Bryan will have one more match against The Miz? They really are teasing it a lot. I
absolutely not.
I don't think I would feel bad and a little bit guilty for watching him wrestle in a ring again. Like, as much as I'd love to see him come out of retirement for one more match, I'd just feel guilty for knowing that, you know, he could get fucking paralyzed because of it.
Yeah. And I just don't think, because they're so particular, WWE's so particular about the terminology you use if you quit or retire. He has retired, which under the contracts, if you say you retire, like, you are unable to compete again in a WWE cell at all. Same thing with Sting. When Sting didn't quit, Sting retired officially from wrestling. And Bryan didn't retire from WWE. He retired from wrestling. So they're not going to let him get back into a squared circle anytime soon.
I reckon he could if he really wanted to go somewhere else. Hint, Ring of Honor.
Yeah. But I think they're paying him way too much.
Yeah, of course, the money will talk. But then, yeah, because if Brie was still wrestling there, it wouldn't be a big of a deal. But because Brie's retired now, retired, I didn't even realize she'd gone, to be perfectly honest. I'm happy she's gone. Like, this may sound horrible, but I'm really happy she doesn't wrestle anymore. Like, I never have to sit for a Brie Bella match ever again. Horrible thing.
No, I completely agree. I mean, I wish her the best of luck. I never liked any of the Bellas. And even, like, being at that live, or being at fucking SmackDown last week, I have no idea when Nikki Bella became popular.
It's just for the girls. It's just for the girls, because they look up to her.
I don't know, but like, dude, that crowd popped really hard for her. She had a loud one.
Wow, someone's got to,
Yeah.
I guess. This is from Ronnie S. Did the club stop doing the doctor thing for good? Hopefully.
So I thought the doctor shit was super fucking funny. The thing they did after that wasn't so awful funny, but I think it was so low-key humor and it was so punny that the crowd absolutely didn't understand what was going on. Because I'm watching, I'm laughing my ass off, and the crowd's just, I don't get what
you got to remember, this
funny.
is like to a show that you're already bored of, and then you see people trying to be funny. It's just like, oh, fuck off. When you're not trying to be funny, that's when it's the funniest. Like the New Day, they come out, they're just goofing off. They're not trying to be funny, they're just goofing off, and it's funny.
Fair.
Whereas fucking them going, doctor. Like, that's funny. I found it funny. It's just, I kind of wish, them being serious. Because they're two badass dudes. They should be going out there kicking the shit out of people.
I can concur.
Ronnie S puts, the old day comes back to cost New Day the titles. And maybe Dana interferes to cost Charlotte the title, and then those two having a feud going forward. That's a good possibility. We didn't really think
out.
Because we were just too busy talking about what Nia Jax is going to be doing and which direction they'll go with Nia Jax. Maybe one of the options is Dana Brooke does cost Charlotte the belt. You have Dana Brooke versus Charlotte, and then you have Bayley versus Banks, or Bayley versus Nia Jax, or Sasha Banks versus Nia Jax. Maybe you could do Sasha Banks versus Bayley in the pay-per-view main event like they've been talking about.
That'd be cool.
That'd be cool. Well, I'll refresh the comments one more time to see if we have any more. Obviously, it's a really strange-ass time for us to be doing a show, so I appreciate everyone watching live right now. Oh, we got a few more. This is from Flaming Fang.
Yeah, I almost said his name super wrong.
Do you think that Triple H would cause a stable for Survivor Series versus The Shield, or maybe against Raw and SmackDown using NXT talent that have been taken to the main roster? No, because that sounds a bit too complicated for WWE to come up with that. And I don't want The Shield to get back together. Well, they can't get The Shield back together because Dean Ambrose is on SmackDown, and I don't want them together. I do not want to see that ever again.
I never want to see The Shield.
No, I mean, I thought The Shield was great, but if you just have them keep coming back and have them in triple threats and keep having them involved in the same thing, it's going to kind of lose it. Like with the Brothers of Destruction, what I think made that work is when they were feuding with other people, they never got involved. That's why when they were involved together, it kind of meant something. It's kind of a bigger deal. Whereas the Shield, only 3 months ago we had a triple threat with every single member involved. There's always tag matches. Reigns is always involved with Rollins somehow. Even in the four-way a few weeks ago where Owens won the belt, they need to just get these guys very distant apart to do the Shield so that when it's actually reunited, it feels special. Like, oh my God, I haven't seen these three people in the same ring for so long. This feels special.
Yeah. I'm under the impression that for Survivor Series, they're probably going to do SmackDown versus Raw. Here's the issue I have with that. If you do SmackDown versus Raw, it makes perfect sense in concept because you have two different brands, have them go out for one another. But what's the point of winning? Is it just bragging rights? There's got to be something on the line. Whatever brand wins has to get something. But what?
That's a good job. Maybe they just do say there's a main eventer, a mid-carder, a tag team, and a female. Oh, no, because they wouldn't have the female. To do it a 4-on-4. You can have a main eventer, a mid-carder, and a tag team. Whichever team wins, that team gets a championship match for whatever division they're in.
That's a good idea.
You know what I'm saying. So, say your Raw team could be, it could be Anderson and Gallows, it can be Jericho, and then the main eventer can be Seth Rollins. If Seth Rollins wins and Raw wins, Seth Rollins gets a Universal title. If Jericho wins, he gets a US title. And then if Anderson and Gallows win, they get a tag title match sometime down the line.
That's not a bad idea.
And then whichever pay-per-view comes next, so if it's, say, SmackDown has the TLC or whatever, then just have the SmackDown team win. That automatically sets up the next story.
Yeah. I'm cool with that.
Because then there's, like you said, there's something on the line, and it matters. It's not just wrestling for wrestling's sake. My brand wins. It's a bit different. But I do like the concept of SmackDown versus Raw. Nia Jax on Total Divas.
God.
Dude, who watches Total Divas? I remember I watched a few episodes. I thought it was very funny.
My stepmom loves that show. Which I think that sentence is everything you need to know about me. If you're like, oh, who's Sammy? Like, oh, his stepmom watches a lot of Total Divas. Like, oh, say no more.
The Flaming Fan guy thinks the Triple H's team should be Kevin Owens, Neville, Cesaro, Ascension, Bo Dallas, Joe, all former NXT champions. I mean, you could do that. It's just the issue is if he's in a feud with Reigns and Rollins, they were both NXT, so it kind of doesn't, really make a difference.
And I'm all for saving Joe for Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, Joe or Nakamura for Brock Lesnar. I want one of those two. Well, that kind of does it. We've kind of summarized it. We answered your questions. We think the show on paper looks pretty damn entertaining. Could be good, full of good wrestling matches, but we're just worried about the direction that Monday Night Raw will go in. We're worried about if the finishes will be logical. So join us tomorrow night live after the pay-per-view airs. Are you up for that?
I will be here. I'm going to miss the first parts of the pay-per-view, but maybe I can fast forward and keep up.
Dude, you did that last time, didn't you? Just fast forwarded it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just fast forward through the shit. Yeah, just fast forward through the shit. Then you can escape some of the bullshit and you might enjoy it a bit more.
All right.
So we'll be back. Well, I'll be back later on tonight with a TNA review because someone has to. And then we'll be back tomorrow night with our WWE Backlash, oh God, I wish, WWE Clash of Champions review. Then the night after will be the Raw review. The night after will be the SmackDown review. And then the night on. So from us here at KocoSports.net, buy Dave Koco's book in the link in the description box below. Go to KocoSports.net, like, comment, and subscribe. From Sammy and myself, stay safe, stay well, and we'll be catching your asses down the line.